This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
And here we are again. It is Monday, and we have each other, so we're going to make it through this week. I have full-on total faith in us. Regardless of whether we get a plane from Qatar or not, we're going to be all right. This is going to be okay. Hi, everybody. I know we don't talk politics here, so we'll leave that in the past on the Mark Thompson Show. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for being here. Right off the bat, I'd like to thank some people that have contributed to the After Party Live. And as Mark mentioned, it doesn't happen without you. So the contributors I'll mention are some of those that financially support this show. And again, they're the reason that this show is ongoing. So huge thank you to Janet R. for a $50 contribution via the monthly PayPal donations. Also Murphy for 10, John R for 10, James S for 15, and Deidre for 20. You guys, thank you so much for helping keep this show going. Just really, really appreciate it so much. PayPal link is in the show description every day. And in the About tab, there's a live link to the PayPal page. And that is in the About tab here on YouTube on the After Party Live. All right, let's get into some of these stories. I've got some good ones for you today. Woo! One of them involves an AirCar. The future has arrived, and here it comes. The AirCar is upon us, and they're ready to move out of testing phase and into the production phase for the AirCar. Here's how it looks flying through the skies. There she goes. That's kind of what you thought when you envisioned the future, isn't it? It costs $1 million. You're going to pay $1 million for the AirCar. It's kind of a steep AirCar price. I don't know. It's a Slovakian startup company that has manufactured this AirCar. This is a prototype that could ship as early as 2026. They have spent the last 3 decades developing AirCar. They have test flighted it for more than 170 hours, 500 takeoffs and landings, and it is one of the first vehicles like this, an AirCar type vehicle, to get the certificate of airworthiness that was awarded back in 2022. And so now this company says it is ready to move out of the testing phase and move into the production phase. Oh, we'll see how it goes. It looks kind of cool. The name of the company is Klein Vision. And the point of AirCar, you can see it here with the wings that fold up after it's done flying, and it turns itself into a vehicle that is able to be driven on roadways. And it looks space-agey and Jetson-y, but cool, right? Is this what we've been waiting for? There it is again in the skies. Yeah. I don't know if we're going to pay $1 million of it, but you saw there that the transition from flight mode to driving mode where the 2 wings retract and fold in, and then it kind of looks like a hardtop convertible in a way. Once the thing is in car mode, the company says it generates downforce using a spoiler and elevator pitch. And the vehicle can reportedly reach top speeds of 124 miles per hour on the road, 155 miles an hour in the air. The maximum flight range is about 620 miles. So that's enough for your commute, right? They call it AirCar, a fusion of certified aviation engineering and advanced automotive design, a true dual mode vehicle that meets rigorous standards on the air and on the ground. That according to the company. Of course, they're going to say that, right? They hope to start shipping this thing to customers as early as 2026. Estimated price between $800,000 and $1 million. They have a 280 horsepower motor, double the power of the previous version that they had tested. So it can fly for longer, drive further, switch between modes faster. What do you think? Are you ready for this? They say, listen, even if we start selling this thing and it's ready earlier, that it could still take some time uh, to be able to fly it. It, in theory, on the road operates like a lot of other vehicles, but if you're trying to fly it, you first have to drive it to an airport, take off from a runway. It's not like you can just roll down your street and take off from your street. So there's some extra things involved. And AirCar's flight path is limited to travel between airports. So you would have to fly it. Say you were going from San Francisco to San Jose, right? You fly it from an airport in near San Francisco or the Bay Area to the San Jose airport, right? Or Morgan Hill or wherever you're flying. And then you turn it into a car and drive it. So you can't just fly it on a street near your house. So, yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. It feels like the future has arrived. We'll see if this thing actually gets shipped in 2026 and if they're on the roadways. At least you'll know what you're looking at, as everyone else is like, "What's that?" And you'll be like, "That's an AirCar. I saw that on the After Party Live." It really does look space agey. If I was driving next to that thing, I would be like, "What in the world?" So that's it. That's the AirCar. What do you think of the AirCar? You think that's a good thing? Would you be willing to fly it, test it out? I don't know. Go into the chat. Let's stick to the Harley, says Ricky. He's flying in a different way, right? Yvonne says, I'd rather be on a Starfleet ship. Tammy says, the DMV is not going to make this one easy. No, absolutely not. Do you need a pilot's license to fly it? I would imagine you do, especially if you have to fly from airport to airport, right? You would have to have all the documentation. You would have to have everything. And who wants to get into a vehicle that you're not prepared to handle? How do you land that thing? You would have to have flight experience or have a pilot's license at the very least, and then be trained on this particular vehicle as well. Nullifidian can't afford it. Neither can I. John says, yeah, they're not going to let you fly that thing without a pilot's license, and getting one of those takes a lot of time and a lot of money. Well, if you had $800,000 to $1 million to spend on an AirCar, perhaps, you'd be all right. I don't know. Donald says, where do they think these vehicles take off and land? A VTOL vehicle would be better. I don't know what that stands for. VTOL, you're going to have to help me out. Vehicle takeoff landing? A vertical takeoff and landing vehicle? Yeah, that's like the ones that have been tested in the Bay Area, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Dick Van Dyke, no more driving chitty chitty bang bang. Rhonda says, listen, even the rich people have telepads at their houses, so they could just land right at home. My husband used to work with a lady who was a pilot, and she lived somewhere in the Central Valley and had an airstrip at her house, and then she would fly to Moffett and work at a tech company down there. So that was her mode of transportation. So some people do. Maybe buy a cheap house far inland or farther away that has an airstrip already attached. I don't know how you find one of those houses. Bookmark the story for next year. We'll see how many of these things are flying around. Sandy says, that changes things. I want to be able to lift off from a crowded freeway. If I have to start out in an airport, that's a pain in the ass, right? It's only when you're in traffic, when you think to yourself, if I could just push a button and fly over these people to the guy in the front of the line that's slowing everything down. No. AirCar is here, and I'm going to say AirCar looks interesting. I'm fascinated by AirCar. All right, we'll move on, even though I don't want to. How about this one? Oh, look at the little baby raccoon. They found them inside the Chase Center in San Francisco. Baby raccoons inside the wall at San Francisco's Chase Center. They had to call out the animal care and control officers to rescue this family of 3 baby raccoons that were found stuck inside of a wall at the Chase Center, which is home of the Golden State Warriors and also the Golden State Valkyries. Did you know that too? I didn't know that. The Valkyries. But isn't that the WNBA team? Yeah. These baby raccoons were stuck in a wall. They brought out the first two, but they needed help from a couple more officers. When the third raccoon kind of got stuck and wedged into the wall, they had to change the position and pull a tile piece out, and they were able to free that animal without injuring it. The baby raccoons went to an urban wildlife rescue for care and rehab, and it looks like everybody's going to be okay. But that was a bit of a surprise inside the Chase Center. I would imagine there's a lot of garbage around there for the grown-up raccoons to munch on. Okay, I have a video attached to this next story, but here's the photo. There was a bike race that happened in Italy, or no, in Albania. My apologies. And it was in the Europe. Here's what it's called: the Europe Giro d'Italia. That's why I'm thinking it's Italy. And it was a big bike race, international, a lot of competitors from around the world. And Dion Smith is a member of the Intermarche Wanty team. Says he was in the 99.4-mile third stage of this race on Sunday when he spotted a small herd of goats next to the road in Albania. And he moved to the right side to avoid these animals, but one of the goats darted into the road, ran straight toward his bicycle. And there's a video of this which shows the goat just jumping straight into the air, brushing Smith's leg and back wheel before landing and continuing on. The crazy part about this is this cyclist manages to stay upright, doesn't crash, and ends up being like a whoa video, but nobody was hurt. So thank goodness for that. And I have video to show you. Here's what it looked like when
Mate. Oh dear, oh dear. Oh, over the back wheel. How's he kept that up?
Right, check it out again.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh.
Yeah, the back wheel, and then he goes. And the cyclist stays up. And there it is. Thank goodness. But yeah, the goat was just moving fast. Sometimes I had that happen to me on a roadway where a deer leapt out from the bushes on the side of the roadway and went airborne, and was, if I had been a few feet further, it would have been me versus the deer. Just came out of nowhere, out of these bushes. There's no way I would have been able to see that deer. And sprang right past my car all the way over to the other side of the road, and I didn't hit it, but it was a miracle. I had another incident. I was driving home from KGO. It was late one night, and I was on 101 past the Golden Gate Bridge, kind of a little bit past Sausalito, and headed toward Paradise Drive. And there were a few deer in the roadway on Highway 101, and there was one basically on the line of the next to me. Say I was in a middle lane. I think there's 4 lanes there, or 3, and I was in the middle lane. And there was one on the line near the right lane and my lane, and one on the line on the left side and the other lane. And it was like this narrow passage and I'm at freeway speeds in the middle of the night, and I just went right through. And I mean, the closeness to deer on either side of me, wild that I didn't hit a deer that night too. Sometimes it's like someone's looking out for you or something, because the close calls are crazy. And that's kind of what that guy had as well. I have another story with video. I know, I'm really excited. This one about a green flash of light. Here's the picture. What was that? The green flash of light. This happened in Australia. This bright green fireball, and it's being identified as one hell of a meteor. That's what they think it was. Kind of a spectacle. And here's what it looks like. I had video to show you. Imagine you're looking up and it's this green light. I've seen shooting stars, meteors, that were like a zip of white light in the sky. The green light might freak me out just a little more. And here's what people were seeing. Oops, my apologies. I had the video up to show you, and now I don't. Here's what it looks like as I try to take the picture down and put the video up. Okay, I have it for you. Here is what it looked like. You can see that. You see that in the sky. What are you thinking? Oh, the aliens have landed is what I'm thinking. From a bunch of different vantage points, from security cameras, from dash cams. It was widely seen. Look at that. Looks like it's coming right to your house. Kind of looks different colored in different areas. There you can see the green. Yeah. So again, it's being called one hell of a meteor from scientists at the observatories. See if I can pause it right there. Nope, I can't. I'll put the picture back up to show you. Yeah, pretty crazy stuff. The folks say that it was a meteor and it was this green flash of light that came down in the Australian sky looking like a bright green fireball, and witnesses were calling in from Perth to an area of Goldfields, seeing this bright green streak across the sky about 6 o'clock in the morning their time on Sunday. Some say it was green, some say it looked more orange. It, according to scientists, ranged in size from a cricket ball to a basketball. They said it was a very nice little surprise for Mother's Day. It was most likely composed of iron that caught fire while entering the atmosphere. And that's what the scientists tell the Australian Broadcasting Corporation is where you're going to see that green orange glow, is because it was on fire. So right now they're trying to figure out whether any remnants of this meteor made it back to Earth. Did it land in the outback? Like, what's the story with that? It seemed like some of those cameras that looked really close. I'm surprised that it's taking them so long to find where it came down to the remnants. This is a nice Mother's Day story. This is a mom and son that received graduate degrees on the same day. They both accepted master's degrees from Texas Christian University. It's the first ever graduate-only ceremony that featured this man named Kyle accepting his Master of Liberal Arts degree and his mom, Brandy, getting her Executive Master of Business Administration degree as well. She said, sharing this moment with my son is something I never imagined that I would do. She said, we've supported each other through the late nights and the strict deadlines, and to walk the stage together, especially on Mother's Day weekend, is an incredible and meaningful moment for our family. She said this has been a long journey for her. Returning after so many years was a challenge, she said, but learning alongside experienced professionals from diverse backgrounds made it rewarding. And he was working as an equipment manager for the Texas Christian University Athletics as he worked to get his master's. And he said sports has always been a big part of his life. And after graduation, I want to continue to work in the sports industry. His ultimate goal is to work for Nike. So he's laying it all out there since he's got the news story going on. But what a nice thing on Mother's Day to get your graduate degree with your kid. I love it. Not such a happy story. Yikes. Look at this one. Looks like a regular igloo cooler. Nothing to see here, right? No. 130,000 more igloo coolers are being recalled over fears of amputation. What? You reach in to get a fizzy water, a LaCroix, you come back out without a finger? No. They announced this recall on Friday. The U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission, apparently we still have one of those for the time being. It expands on an earlier recall that involved more than 1 million igloo coolers. The tow handle can pinch consumers' fingertips against the cooler, posing fingertip amputation and crushing hazards. The latest additions to the recall include the 9-quart flip and tow rolling coolers, manufactured at a plant in Katy, Texas, before January of 2024. They were sold at Costco, Target, Academy, Dick's, and online at Amazon. These things are everywhere. Since the recall was announced in February, igloo has received 78 reports of fingertip injuries. 26 of them resulted in fingertip amputations, bone fractures, or lacerations. Be so careful, or take it back if you've got an igloo row and tow. Yikes. Watch for that tow handle. So it pinches fingertips against the cooler. Must be when you're trying to lay it flat or pick it up, but not when you're actually rolling it along, when you're trying to stow it. I don't know. Scary. Got to be careful of the igloo. There's a story. This is also kind of sad and disappointing. It looks like we're doing more drugs than we thought as a country. There's a new survey that shows that American adults use illicit opioids 20 times more than previously estimated. This includes fentanyl, the illicit opioid usage, 20 times higher than previously estimated. This is a study published Friday by the Rand Corporation and the University of Southern California. So USC researchers say government counts could significantly be underestimating illicit drug use, and they suggest that new methods are needed to do a better job of tracking down the opioid crisis in America. They do indicate that we transitioned from heroin in the early 2010s to illicitly manufactured fentanyl just a few years later. So that's how our drug switcheroo came down. They published the study in the Journal of American Medical Association Health Forum, and they said 11% of the 1,515 American adults that they surveyed reported illicit opioid use within the last 12 months. 7.5% use of illicitly produced fentanyl. The survey was taken online last June, a year ago. Among those surveyed for this, 7.7% reported intentional non-prescription opioid use, 3.2% unintentional non-prescription opioid use. National Survey on Drug Use and Health reported only 0.3% of adults in 2022 used illicitly manufactured fentanyl. So those numbers don't quite add up. The researchers said the estimates of this illicit opioid use are rare and typically available only years after the information is collected. So the study offers a method to quickly, repeatedly monitor illicit opioid prevalence at a very low cost. And we know that most overdose deaths are traced to illegally manufactured fentanyl. In 2023, more than 74,000 people in the United States died from overdoses involving synthetic opioids, mostly fentanyl in this case. In 2012, the number of deaths from this was 2,628. 4 years later, spiked to 19,413. And again, in 2023, 74,702. We know fentanyl is deadly because it's 50 times stronger than heroin, 100 times stronger than morphine, and just 2 milligrams of it can be lethal. And drug dealers mix it with other drugs, including heroin, cocaine, and meth, and ecstasy to increase the drug's effects. And most people are not aware of it when they think they're taking one thing, they're taking something else completely. That's very dangerous. So, scary. And it's happening more than we had thought. How about something a little happier? Yeah, how about the lotto of the day? Let's do it. This is a story out of Michigan. And it was a random pick that earned this guy a lot of money. 58-year-old man out of Michigan bought a Safecracker cash word ticket from the Bushes on West Chicago Boulevard in Tecumseh, Michigan. And he said, I play all the different games. I like the instant ones. So the Safe Cracker Cash Word happened to be the game I randomly picked out that day while I was at the store. And I scratched the barcode, scanned the ticket, got a message to file a claim at the lottery office. So that's when I went through and then I played the game. It's so interesting how people, I guess I can't fault you for being more interested in did I win right away? But it doesn't it take the fun out of it not to just play the game first? You know, if you're buying a game, aren't you wanting to play the game or are you just wanting the cash? Maybe both? Well, the ticket turned out to be a top prize winner. It had 10 words, which qualified this man for a $300,000 prize. He called it a great feeling. What's he going to do with his money? He is going to invest that 300 grand. Let's hope he doesn't invest it in crypto. No. Here's something interesting. Did you know that your fingers wrinkle the same way every single time you get them all pruny and wrinkly in water? That's interesting. You'd think that, they would wrinkle differently depending on the temperature of the water, depending on how long you're in there. I don't know. No, it's the same way every time. Yeah. Those fingerprints, the wrinkly patterns that form after our hands are in water for extended periods of time, are consistent. They remain the same even after multiple submersions in water. They did a new study on this. It's published in the May 2025 issue of the Journal of the Mechanical Behavior of Biomedical Materials. You subscribe to that one, don't you? They say the skin on the palms of our hands and the soles of our feet, or glabrous skin, glabrous, Glabrous. That's a trivia question. Glabrous skin. It's hairless and it plays a role in sensing our environment. Glabrous skin has tons of receptors that send signals from our skin as electrical impulses that our brains can read. And that is also the skin that wrinkles when it's exposed to water for a long time. The blood vessels beneath the skin contract and create the wrinkles. So the researchers at Binghamton University tried to figure out why these wrinkled skin patterns stayed the same. And they put the test subjects' fingers in water for 30 minutes, and then they took pictures and repeated the immersion under the same condition 24 hours later. And by comparing the images, they found the same patterns of raised loops and ridges after both immersions. The researchers say blood vessels don't change their position very much at all. They move around a little bit in relation to other blood vessels, but they're pretty static. So it means the wrinkles should form in the same manner, and they proved they do. A side discovery, they said they'd heard wrinkles don't form in people who have median nerve damage in their fingers. One of the test subjects said, I've got median nerve damage. So they tested him. No wrinkles. That's true. Why study this? Because they think it has some real world applications in forensics, that it could be used in fingerprinting at crime scenes, identifying bodies that have been found after prolonged exposure to water as well. So the researchers say it's fascinating because there's so much science still to learn that they don't know. Yeah, so next time you're in the pool and you have pruny fingers, you'll know they prune the same way every single time. It's fascinating. How about this story? Remember we talked about this and it happened. This old Russian probe has come down, the Kosmos, after more than 50 years in orbit. It crashed into the Indian Ocean on Saturday. We knew it was coming down, and it was a good chance that it was going to hit hard. Thank goodness it didn't hit a populated area. It was launched in 1972, and it didn't really do much. The Cosmos 482 spacecraft. It deorbited over the weekend, fell into the Indian Ocean, according to the Russian State Space Corporation, Roscosmos. They said it hit the ocean on Saturday about 2:24 a.m. Eastern Daylight Time. The descent of the spacecraft monitored for the automated warning system for hazardous situations in near-Earth space. It fell into the Indian Ocean somewhere west of Jakarta, and the European Space Agency tracked this satellite over Germany before it disappeared from the radar. It was launched with the goal of studying and eventually landing on Venus. It was one of two. One of them went on to do its deed, and this one kind of fizzled out, had a malfunction on the booster block, and it remained in a high elliptical orbit of the Earth, gradually approaching the planet. So after 50 years, it comes back down. Yeah, it was one of several launched with the goal of studying Venus under the Soviet-era Venera program, because they were interested about the similarities between the Earth and Venus. They said both planets are considered geographically young, and they have nearly the same size and mass. So there was even a thing with NASA. They, in 2023, found some volcanic activity on Venus, and they said after looking at closer photos taken of that planet, they had seen this volcanic eruption. So they're kind of piqued interest there as well. Also, NASA's Jet Propulsion Lab discovered some new geological patterns that gave them some more ideas about how the planet of Venus releases heat. But now we know that the cosmos is down, splashed down, and it didn't hurt anybody. So that's good. Should we? Yeah, we should. Let's do it. It is time for Hide in Your Cave Monday. And after the weekend we had, news-wise, maybe we need to hide in the cave. I don't know. I have some interesting caves to show you. We're going to Croatia for caves today. This is the Jama Grada Beradin in Croatia. It is a morphological monument of nature meeting a mystical world. Been developing for thousands of years in here, away from the light of day and the human eye. It is the Beradin Cave, a treasure chest of stalagmites and stalactites, underworld sculptures created through time by the patient work of water. You can, this cave has been open since 1995. You can go see it, 40-minute tours. You got to descend along a 300 meter long pathway. Below the ground, there's an underground lake, and there's 5 beautifully decorated chambers. The cave is well lit and equipped. There are paths and stairways with firm railings, and it's a very temperature pleasant environment down here. There's a free parking lot for cars and buses right next door. They even have a coffee bar and a buffet, and a gallery and a souvenir shop, and a children's playground, and a petting zoo nearby, and a picnic area. So this is for everyone. This is the first picture of the Jama Grotto Beradin. And here's another picture I have for you. Deep under the cave. It's got some cool formations down there, right? Jama Grotto Beradin in Croatia. The next one is called the Modric Cave. It's a cave also in the Croatia area. And this one is, they say, the safest adventure in Croatia. It is 829 meters long, and they say it'll give you a special experience of the underground world. Untouched nature without concrete paths or big lights. Only in small groups are you able to go down and join the tour in what they call, the folks at Modric, the most beautiful cave of the Mediterranean, Modric Cave. It's a small place in Rovanjka on the Adriatic Coast Road, and it's a 10-minute easy walk from your car. In the cave, you spend 2 hours. They equip you with cavers equipment, so they'll put a helmet on you and electric lights and, strap you in. But they say this is a place of underground fantastic creations. Again, with stalactites, stalagmites, they have pillars, speleo themes that look like jellyfish, cuttlefish, red queen, other surprises that nature and your imagination can provide. You can only get there by going through the Zara Adventure Travel Agency. So that's it. Here's some more pictures from the Modric Cave. This is pretty cool. Check out this one. You can see these cool formations hanging from the tops of the cave. So many interesting things to look at inside this cave. Here's another shot of Modric. That's pretty cool. Looks very symmetrical, doesn't it? It almost makes me think of oh my god, now I'm drawing a blank. What's that number that is used in nature, that found in nature, in the swirls of trees and the spacing of birds? I know you guys know it. How did I forget it? Yeah. The special number. This sounds like an ideal outing for Minecraft fans. Fibonacci, Heather. Thank you. The Fibonacci sequence. You look at this even spacing of those stone formations, and it reminds me of Fibonacci. That was a good little makeshift trivia. Heather got it. Mars got it. Yeah. Yeah, Fibonacci. Viewfinder's got it. Teacher Lori got it. You guys are on it. Thank you. I can't believe I forgot that. The Fibonacci sequence. One of my favorite things. Very cool. All right. There we went to Croatia. Just a little touch of the underground on Hide in Your Cave Monday. Are we ready to come out now? I think we are. Let's come out. Let's come out of the cave because I have another story for you. And this one is about a theme park not in Disneyland, but really close to Disneyland. I found the story at SF Gate. Did you know? Because I had no idea. This story shocked me. This is a theme park. The SF Gate calls it a hidden theme park. I don't know if it's hidden per se. They say it sits in the shadows of Knott's Berry Farm in Disneyland. It is at the edge of Anaheim, this theme park called Adventure City. Mostly only locals know about it. 2 miles down the street from Knott's Berry Farm. And most of the time people only see the one of the roller coasters kind of sticking up above a fence line. It's called Adventure City. And it's a theme park. It's not quite like Disneyland or Knott's Berry Farm. It's smaller and really is for families with kids. It's 3 acres, 17 rides and attractions, 2 roller coasters, a petting zoo, a rock climbing tower, and an arcade. And the lines are almost non-existent. It's a small footprint, they say, that the park sits on. And parking is free. Owned by this man named Alan Ansdell, who, when he was 12, helped his grandmother operate a train at Hobby City, which was this hobby center that was next door. And so he later bought that and ran the train as a standalone business. But then he graduated from high school and he brought up the idea to open a theme park to his parents. And they got on board with the idea. And so they opened the park in 1994 and it's been in operation ever since. Who knew? Who knew? They have food and they have rides. They have the whole thing. He said it's geared toward ages 12 and under, but people of all ages have fun here. And it's not a huge park. It's really small, but he said people like going on the same rides over and over. So it's fine. And it's very affordable. $31 to get in. He said, "We opened knowing we had our own little niche because, you'll take your kids to Disneyland, but you might not take them there every week, and you want to find activities to do with your kids that aren't going to break the bank." And he said, "That's what we're here for." The park is at half capacity every day. So lines are either short or non-existent. Even if it's at full capacity, the lines aren't more than 15 minutes. So that's fun. That they do set daily capacity limits, and sometimes they'll turn people away. So they say if you're going, maybe you book a trip to Disneyland, but also you book a trip to Adventure World or whatever it's called. What is it? Adventure City. Adventure City. Book a trip to Adventure City for I don't know, half a day. Go check it out. There's a little train. It was fun. Who knew this was? Did you guys know this was here? You probably knew it was here, huh? I'm sure Tony knew it was there because he lives nearby. Yeah. I mean, that's wild. Mo says San Francisco's Playland at the beach. Too bad it's no more. Yeah, we don't have much like that here. There's Six Flags Discovery Kingdom in Vallejo, if that's what it's still called, which I won't participate in because I don't like the treatment of animals and the water parks and the dolphin shows and all that stuff. They used to have orcas out there. We don't go there. And then they had a couple in the South Bay, Great America, which I think is going away, right? So there's not much in the Bay Area anymore. Phineas says that log ride at Knott's Berry Farm, Knott's Dry Farm was the best. Yeah. Yeah. Kind of cool. I just didn't realize that this thing was here all this time. Who knew? Marine Land Africa USA. Oh, Marine World Africa USA. Wasn't that the one I think that was what the one in Vallejo used to be called. Now it's Six Flags Discovery Kingdom. Something. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We got it. I think I have another story for you. This one, also out of SF Gate. I thought this was an interesting one about this butterfly. Look how pretty that butterfly is. Beautiful. This butterfly, we thought it was extinct. It's an iridescent butterfly, and it was spotted all over a San Francisco neighborhood. It was once thought to be locally extinct, and now it's all over this neighborhood. This is in Golden Gate Heights. 16th Avenue Steps is in this neighborhood as well. These are emerald-colored butterflies that go from one flower to the next. They are known, according to SF Gate, as the jewels of the inner sunset, and they were once thought to be extinct because of habitat loss and invasive plants. But according to SF Gate, and thanks to conservation efforts from Nature in the City, this butterfly is now back and being seen again. The area where it has been seen is called the Green Hair Street Corridor. They have these flashes of green spotted fluttering through the Golden Gate Heights Park and Grandview Park and interconnected sites in this area, according to the map of the conservation organization. They've seen it as far south as 15th and Quintara, and as far north as Aloha and Lomita in San Francisco. They've been spotted all over the place this spring. It's being called quite the comeback. Pretty amazing, according to the California Academy of Sciences Community Science Director. They said they hadn't seen this butterfly since 2019. And all of a sudden, boom, here they are. They were discovered in the hills of San Francisco in the 1800s, and they were once all over the place. And then rapid development in San Francisco compromised their habitat, and they became more of a rare sighting around the city. So if you find one of these green hair streaks, they say you got lucky. It can be pretty tricky to see them. Weather conditions need to be still and sunny enough, and you need to be extra observant. They're only the size of a nickel, so they're small. And they like to orient their little bodies to face the sun like a solar panel, and they're really quick flyers like a streak in the sky. If you're going out to one of those parks to see them, the experts tell SF Gate 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. is their most popular time where you are likely to see one. And you have to pay really close attention to their favorite food sources: coast buckwheat, seaside daisy. And because we have a cool spring season, it's possible their flight season will peak later, mid to late May, and not April. So, pretty good. If you are looking for more information and you want to go see a green hair streak, you can check out Nature in the City. And I'll post this right now in the chat so you can look at this. Size of a nickel, Mellophidian, size of a nickel. Here's the link if you want to go check it out. They'll give you the map, and there's some cool pictures there as well of the more pictures of the green hair streak corridor. They're cute. They're little and pretty and bright green. So cool. And nice that there's conservationists working on that. I love that picture. All right. Should we do another story? What do you think? Yeah, I think we should do this. Even though it's ending on a sad note instead of a happy note. Look at this. It turns out, what a Debbie Downer I am on this one. It turns out the universe might die sooner than we expect it to. It's okay. We'll already be dead anyway. We're gone. We're going to go in. It's all right. Astrophysicists say the Hawking radiation could dramatically shorten reality's lifespan. The estimates for how long the universe will exist used to be 10 to the 1100 years. It's a 1 followed by 1,100 zeros. But the new calculations, based on the nature of certain black hole particles, say no, that's too liberal. The study published in the Journal of Cosmology and Astroparticle Physics say the latest remnants due to decay will take another 10 to the 78th years, a 1 followed by only 78 zeros. So that's a little bit shorter, right? The Hawking radiation implies that, contrary to Einstein's belief, black holes can only grow and not shrink. It's an imperceptible particle shuffle, causing a cosmic nexus of space-to-time slow decay. There was a paper written in 2023 at Radboud University in the Netherlands that explored the concept of black hole evaporation and implications on other objects within gravitational fields, white dwarfs, neutron stars. And they looked at various implications that Hawking radiation could have on the universe. And they said one of the clearest possibilities here would be found in white dwarfs. That previous studies didn't factor in Hawking radiation into their equation, and they put the white dwarf lifespan at 10 to the 1100 years, 10 to the 1100s power. New revised calculations, only taking Hawking radiation into account, puts the universe's demise at a much sooner 10 to the 78 power years. Still, they say it's a very long time. So you see, we'll be okay. They say, they decided to, also for fun, because yay, decide how long it would take for a human being to evaporate due to Hawking radiation decay. They say we have mass, and so a minuscule amount of gravitational pull, and barring no other external factors, that sun-going nova or biological decay, you won't slough off all your particles for another 10 to the 90 years. So we have the universe beat as far as our the impact of Hawking radiation on us. I know it's a science goobery story, but still a little interesting, right? All right. Well, tomorrow it's going to be a good day. It's David K. Johnston will be on the Mark Thompson show, and I'm really looking forward to that. So it'll be another fun day. And also, it looks like Jefferson Graham might be back from his road trip, so we may have him on the show. And then here on the after party, we'll take a little virtual trip together for Travel Tuesday. So it's going to be a good one. All right, everyone. Thank you for all the contributions. And I see one pop through from Luis with $5. Kim, happy to be home and in the cool breezes of the after party's island vibe and out of that 114-degree heat in Palm Desert. That's hot. Yeah. I'm glad you're in the tropical vibe as well. By the way, I hope everyone had a happy Mother's Day, or even if you weren't celebrating, that you had a great Sunday. And if you were celebrating, that you had a great day with your mom or as a mom or what have you. All right. I will see you guys tomorrow. And until we meet again, make it a really, really great day. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you. The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
I like that idea, Yvonne. Let's do that. Jane, if you're looking to send me an email, you can find me at kim@theafterparty.live. kim@theafterparty.live.